Imagine a medley of fragrant spices, succulent chicken, and fluffy, perfectly cooked rice coming together in a dish that's a feast for all senses. That's kabsa for you, a traditional Middle Eastern dish, a symphony of flavors that will leave you wanting more. This culinary marvel hails from the Arabian Peninsula, where it holds a cherished place in the region's gastronomic landscape. Kabsa is not just about the aroma and flavor, it's about the love and tradition that goes into its preparation. The magic of kabsa lies in its spices, a blend of coriander, black lime, and cinnamon, each lending their unique notes to the dish, creating a flavor profile that's both complex and incredibly satisfying. The succulent chicken and fluffy rice absorb these flavors, transforming into a meal that's more than the sum of its parts. Ready to embark on this culinary adventure? Buckle up, because you're in for a ride. The magic of kabsa lies in its ingredients, each playing a crucial role in creating that perfect harmony of flavors. First on our list is the hero of our dish, the meat. You can use either chicken or lamb depending on your preference. The meat lends a hearty, savory base that is integral to this dish. The flavors penetrate deep into the meat, making every bite a delightful experience. Next, we have the long-grain basmati rice. This is the canvas on which we'll be painting our masterpiece. It's essential to use basmati because it's less sticky and each grain remains separate, absorbing the flavors while retaining its individuality. Now let's talk about the aromatic spices which give kabsa its distinctive taste. The kabsa spice blend is a medley of warm and earthy spices. It includes black lime, which gives a tangy kick, cloves for a sweet, spicy note, black pepper for heat, coriander and cumin for a hint of earthiness, and cardamom for a touch of sweetness. Each spice adds a unique flavor, enhancing and balancing the overall taste. Don't forget the allium trinity, onions, garlic, and ginger. These ingredients form the base of our dish, imparting a depth of flavor that is both subtle and profound. They add a savory richness that complements the spices beautifully. Then we have tomatoes. Their tartness cuts through the richness of the meat and the spices, providing a refreshing balance. They also lend a gorgeous, vibrant color to the dish. To finish off, we use a handful of dried fruits and nuts. Almonds, raisins, and dates add a touch of sweetness and a bit of crunch, enhancing the texture and complexity of the dish. And finally, a generous drizzle of ghee, or clarified butter, is used to cook everything together. This not only adds a rich, nutty flavor, but also helps in blending all the flavors together. With these ingredients on hand, you're all set to bring the magic of kabsa to your kitchen. The first step to making kabsa is preparing the chicken. The flavor infused in the chicken sets the tone for the entire dish. So let's dive right in. Marinating the chicken is an integral part of the process, and it's where we begin. You'll need a blend of aromatic spices. Think black lime, coriander, cinnamon, and cardamom, to name a few. These spices are the soul of kabsa, giving it that unique, irresistible flavor. Add in some crushed garlic for a pungent kick, and a generous squeeze of fresh lime juice to balance out the spices. The acidity in the lime also helps to tenderize the chicken, ensuring that every bite is succulent and juicy. Once you've got your spices, garlic, and lime, it's time to get your hands dirty. Rub this beautiful concoction all over the chicken, making sure to get it into every nook and cranny. Let it sit for a while, preferably an hour or two, to let the flavors really seep into the chicken. This marination process is key to achieving that deep, robust flavor profile that kabsa is known for. Now that your chicken is well marinated and bursting with flavors, it's time to cook it. Heat up a large pot or a deep skillet, add a dash of oil, and then lay your chicken in there. The goal here is to brown the chicken, not to fully cook it. So, sear it on all sides until it develops a beautiful golden brown crust. This browning process, known as the Maillard reaction, enhances the flavor of the chicken and gives it a wonderful texture. Remember, we're not aiming to cook the chicken through just yet. It will finish cooking later when we mix it with the rice. For now, once it's browned, take it out of the pot and set it aside. Your chicken is now ready, marinated with exotic spices and cooked to a tantalizing golden brown. Once your chicken is cooked to perfection, it's time to move on to the next step. Now, on to the heart of the dish, the kabsa rice. This is where all the flavors come together. In the realm of culinary delights, Kabsa rice is a confluence of flavors that will make your taste buds dance in ecstasy. Let's dive into the process of creating this masterpiece. The very first step is to cook the rice in the same pot as the chicken. You might wonder why the same pot. The answer lies in the flavors. The chicken leaves behind a rich, savory broth that is soaked up by the rice, infusing it with a depth of flavor that is simply unparalleled. Once your rice begins to simmer gently in the chicken broth, it's time to stir in the tomatoes and onions. These humble ingredients may seem ordinary, but in this dish, they play a stellar role. The acidity from the tomatoes cuts through the richness of the broth, adding a refreshing tang, while the onions caramelize and lend a sweet undertone that balances the overall taste. Now it's time to add the remaining spices: a pinch of clove, a dash of cinnamon, a sprinkle of black lime. Each spice contributes to the symphony of flavors in Kabsa rice. As you stir them in, the aroma that wafts from the pot is nothing short of intoxicating. It's a sensory experience that you have to experience to believe. Once all the ingredients are in the pot, let it simmer on low heat. This is crucial. The slow cooking process allows the rice to fully absorb all the flavors and the grains to become tender. As you lift the lid after a while, you'll be greeted with beautifully cooked Kabsa rice, each grain separate and bursting with flavor. And just like that, your Kabsa rice is ready, brimming with flavors and waiting to be paired with the succulent chicken. The journey of creating Kabsa rice is a labor of love, but the end result is a feast for the senses that makes every minute worth it. Enjoy the process, savor the flavors, and get ready to be transported to a world of culinary delight with every bite. The final step of this culinary journey is assembling the dish. This is where the magic happens. After all the chopping, stirring, and simmering, it's finally time to bring it all together into a plate of mouth-watering Kabsa. Start by fluffing the beautifully cooked Kabsa rice with a fork, making sure each grain is separate and ready to absorb the rich flavors of our main ingredient, the chicken. Now let's layer the succulent, tender chicken over the bed of aromatic rice, letting the juices from the meat seep into the grains. This isn't just a meal, it's a symphony of flavors playing out on your plate. But we're not done yet. The garnish is the final touch, the cherry on top, that elevates this dish from delicious to divine. Sprinkle a generous handful of fried nuts over the chicken. The crunch of the nuts is a delightful contrast to the soft, tender bite of the chicken. Next, scatter some plump, juicy raisins over the dish. These little gems of sweetness balance out the savory notes, adding a layer of complexity to the flavor profile. Now let's talk about serving suggestions. Kabsa is a meal in itself, robust and satisfying. However, if you'd like to complement the hearty flavors of the dish, consider pairing it with a simple salad. A mix of fresh, crunchy vegetables dressed in a tangy vinaigrette can provide a refreshing contrast to the rich, deep flavors of the Kabsa. Another popular accompaniment is a bowl of cooling yogurt, which can help temper the spices and add a creamy element to the meal. So there it is, a plate heaped with fragrant, fluffy rice, crowned with juicy, spiced chicken, and adorned with crunchy nuts and sweet raisins. The colors, the textures, the aromas, it's a feast for the senses. And there you have it, a plate of fragrant, flavorful Kabsa, ready to be devoured. Cooking Kabsa is more than just a process. It's a labor of love, an adventure into the heart of Middle Eastern cuisine. We've journeyed together through the aromatic world of Kabsa, unveiling the exotic ingredients, preparing the tender chicken, and creating the flavorful rice. Each step is crucial, contributing to the final masterpiece. The spices, simmered to perfection, infuse the meal with a rich, intoxicating aroma. The chicken, marinated and cooked until it's falling off the bone, adds a succulent texture. The rice, soaked in the savory broth, becomes the perfect carrier for these vibrant flavors. But remember, the true magic happens when you bring it all together. The symphony of flavors, the harmony of textures, the dance of aromas, that's the essence of Kabsa. It's not just a meal, it's an experience, a celebration of culinary art. So go ahead, bring the aromatic world of Kabsa into your kitchen and enjoy this culinary masterpiece.